Warm welcome back to my channel, Suppose Nuggets. In the last Nugget, I asked some questions about the relevance of the National Youth Service Corps, or NYC for short. That is a program that has been running in Nigeria now for more than 5 decades, I believe. And I had stated out the objectives of the NYSC and the relevance of the program. There is no doubt that the program served the country well, was useful. The primary objective, I believe, was to integrate the country after the war. And I think it served that purpose quite well. Then this second objective, the secondary objective was to fill labor gaps. So you have thousands of young graduates who could easily be drafted into teaching in the secondary schools and into other industrial sectors. But right now, I'm not sure Nigeria needs that kind of, there was a great need for doctors, young doctors going into the hospitals and clinics. I'm not sure Nigeria needs that those kinds of gaps right now. So one then wonders, are we keeping the NYC unnecessarily for this long? Can we improve it? Like I said, it's not good to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but so we can definitely overhaul the NYC to make it more relevant to the current situation in the country. If you look at integration, I think the young people are far more integrated than they were in my own time, thanks to the social media space. They have all kinds of platforms in which they integrate, and the politicians say to their chagrin, who know this better than I do, because the youth are following some particular politicians who they think are their preferred candidates. But good on them, I'm not going to dwell on that. I have made my points in other channels and platforms. But then when you also talk about integration, I also mentioned in my last video that there is far more inter-ethnic, inter-racial, inter-whatever marriage happening in Nigeria now than before. As I speak, I have nephews whose mothers come from Plateau State. Actually, my editor, Young Paul. Kaduna State have Yoruba related nephews, Igbo related nephews. So the family is becoming quite complex, and none of that was done through the NYC. Came by the integration of the young people, because wherever they find themselves now, they mix with the people, they fall in love and they marry. So telling me we can have any better integration than that is just not there at all. But labor gaps, I know there are some gaps, particularly in the north, in schools and hospitals, but I think doctors from the south and middle belt are and teachers are not going to some of those areas because of the poor security situation there now, right now, or over the past few years. So, but I would suggest that we keep the National Youth Service Corps, NYC, but greatly overhaul it. We need to overhaul it. And I have some points to make. I think for one, it should be optional. We shouldn't be drafting every graduate into the NYC. There are, even way back in my time, I could see some coppers who were not really interested in being in the camp. They just had to be there, because in Nigeria, you cannot apply for a public service job unless you have done the NYC and hold this NYC certificate. So, but there are people who have better things to do, and they should be allowed to move on. So I would suggest that we make the NYC optional and not mandatory. And in effect, that is going to reduce the cost. I mentioned the large number of graduates going into the program right now. Why don't we make it optional and reduce that number and use the money for that to develop other sectors? And then I would also suggest that corpers should choose where they want to go. I know the young people, they don't even see the security situation as badly as the older people. Let's give them the option. Let them choose where they want to go. Even right now, people are manipulating the system and serving in their home states. So what stops us from allowing them to choose where they want to go? And you'll find out that people would still want to go where you didn't expect them to go. So let's give them that option to choose. And that way we are in a better place situation with happier corpers than grieving corpers. I still remember when I arrived at my destination in those days, my first job was to console another corper who didn't want to be there at all. Down the line, she liked the place, integrated with the people, but for weeks, she didn't want to interact with anybody, didn't want to speak to anybody. So give them the option to choose where they want to go and actually what they want to do. Actually, some of the sectors should be allowed to advertise, request for numbers, and let the corpers apply and be chosen to fill those gaps. The system could be manipulated, but what is not manipulated anyway? Let's give them the option to choose and let the people who need them choose them based on their qualifications and disciplinary backgrounds. The other thing I would probably suggest is to rotate the corpers. So instead of them spending the whole year in one state or in one location, I think we could give them a quarterly rotation, or maybe every 6 months, do half year here and then move on to do the other half of the year at another location. That will also give them more scope to spread their wings and then learn other things that they wouldn't have otherwise learned by just sitting at one place. And then another suggestion that I have, I think probably the final one, is to probably pay the entire allowances, the entire stipend up front. And why do I say this? I had said that the NYC is like a gap year that is used overseas. It's quite challenging for students to finish, graduate, and then feel like, what do I do next? So the NYC serves that purpose of giving them time to settle down. But while settling down, do they have to go and do what they don't want to do? Right now with technology, I know a lot of young people are itching to go to start up their own companies. Young doctors would probably want to go into more remote places to serve the community rather than being left in the town. They can set up their own clinics. Agricultural graduates could actually go and set up their farms. So please give them that option. Give them the whole money for the year and probably top it up. Ask them to draw up business plans, proposals that can be assessed. And then we'll give them that money to go off and start whatever they want to do with their lives. I think with these few suggestions, we can keep the NYC and make it more beneficial to the corpers and to the country. And for my final advice would be for the scheme, the program, to be revised at least every 4 years. I'm suggesting 4 years because that is the duration of most academic programs in Nigeria, where we are required to do honors. But it needs to be revised every 4 to 5 years so that we can then take on board suggestions that could improve the scheme and make it more relevant, rather than running it on and on and on for years without any looking as to how it is serving the country. I think I'm going to stop here. I don't want to drag this, but I welcome your comments. And with time, like I said, I'm going to call panel so that we discuss these things rather than making it a monologue at the first. But I do hope that you could send in comments and suggestions, questions that can make this more relevant and interactive. Bye for now.